Akram, you already gave us a bit of a hint there. So could you just take us back to maybe your schooling and then what entry route you ended up forming into and how you got there?
Absolutely. So when I was at school, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do in terms of a career choice, but I definitely known I wanted to go, obviously, study my sort of post-school life. So I chose to study law, product design, and English language. Now, in my first year at sixth form, I didn't quite have an idea of what I wanted to do upon leaving sixth form. And I know a lot of the people around me, they were quite set on going to university and pursuing their careers or their subjects to a further degree. But for me, I was quite fortunate in that I was able to look into different career paths towards the end of the year. I really enjoyed law. I really enjoyed the product design. And sort of I started having a look, where can I apply these skills that I was learning? Where can I apply the learning itself? And I found that quantity surveying was quite a unique mix. You've got the costs, but you've also got the contracts. It's not just numbers. So that was something that I was looking into. I was able to get myself some work experience with quite a reputable company in the industry. And upon that, I was set on it. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then it was deciding whether I go through the university route or the apprenticeship route. And for me, I did a bit more digging, a bit more research, and I was set on the degree apprenticeship route partly and mainly because of the network that you build whilst you're studying the theory. So working 4 days a week and then studying the theory and applying that live on projects and learning from that in itself, it's invaluable to me. And you go through a 4-year program, and at the end you can say, I've got 4 years of experience, whereas someone who goes to university, you've only got the theory. So yeah, that's my experiences and how I found myself going into the industry. I'd probably mention, and I'd probably like to add, how I found the role itself as well. So one of the things that I did was I searched up the top 10 best companies in engineering and in construction, and from that I went onto each company's website, went onto their careers pages and looked, where they operate, what they do, what sectors they operate in, what's local to me, and I found that Atkins Realis was the perfect fit.
So you were pretty proactive in that process.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's quite important, and it's definitely a message that I'd like to send. You've got to, I think that a lot of people were probably in my shoes as well. I could be in, how I was at that time. They could be going through that process right now, not knowing what they want to do, but it's important to knuckle down and take on board what you're good at, what you think your purpose is, and go away and really do your research, look online and try and find where you can find yourself, where you see your vision, I suppose, where you'd like to see yourself in 5 years' time, where you'd like to see yourself in 10 years' time. And I think that's a good bit of advice that I'd probably like to, if I could go back and if someone had told me that would have been something that I would have taken away quite nicely.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And could you share with our audience what you said to me just beforehand around local young people, and sometimes they think they've got to move out to have a good career, because you're a local lad, aren't you?
Absolutely, yes. So I went to school local to the Teesside, Middlesbrough, Nunthorpe Academy, great place. But when I was again at sixth form, there was an environment where a lot of my fellow students, that they were under the impression that to succeed in life they had to move away and go to university, follow a very traditional route. And I think over the past 19-20 years, there's been a stigma around apprenticeships. There'd been a decline in many people enrolling on the apprenticeship route, and partly because a lot of people are under the impression that to go into an apprenticeship, it's to do with a trade or it's all hands-on, and they'd rather look at the successes are elsewhere. But for me, I think it was important to understand if there were opportunities local, and I was able to find that there are. It's just having the exposure to that. So, for example, at the moment, I'm working on Teesworks, which is Europe's largest brownfield site. There's so much going on in the energy space, in local transport, and it's really exciting. Those opportunities are there. The real question is, what can we do to make the younger generation aware of those opportunities? So can schools do a bit more in advertising that? I know when I was at sixth form again, there's a lot of advertisement around going to university. A lot of the assemblies were structured around how you can do well on your UCAS But, is there more around how we can engage with employers, reaching out to people in the industry? That's something that I think is quite important, and I'd like to share as well.
You could have your own podcast, Akram, I think.